Welcome to the Unit 8, Chapter 2, Classifying Living Things Review. Hopefully this will help you study for the test and make you successful. We will start off this review with the definition of classification. Classification, as you can see, is the grouping things using a set of rules. And the best example of this is the grocery store example we used in class, where a grocery store has to classify the items and things in the grocery store so that we can find them easier. Examples: fruits, vegetables, and where the cereals are. To start out here, we're going to go over the 5 kingdoms. The kingdom is the largest classification group, and it is broken into 5, obviously. Here are the first 3, the animal kingdom. Then we have the plants. Then we have the fungi kingdom, and 2 more on the next slide. But animal kingdom, they are many cells, and they feed on living or once living things. So the main thing with animals is we have to go get our own food. Okay, we have to go make our own food, or go to Wendy's, or make it on the barbecue, something like that. Then plants. Plants also are many-celled, but they make their own food. Plants make their own food because they have a part of their cell called chloroplasts. And that's what differentiates between an animal cell and a plant cell, is plants have those chloroplasts. So they can actually make their own food. They can't get up and walk over to the refrigerator, get their own food, or go through the Wendy's drive-thru to get their own food. They make it with those chloroplasts. And then fungi, or fungi, however you want to pronounce it, they are many cells, and they absorb food from other living things, or dead things. So they absorb it. And examples of fungi are mushrooms, yeasts, molds, myself. Okay, just kidding. I'm not a fungi in this definition, but in many others, possibly. Then the next 2 of the 5 are protists and monorans. Protists are mostly one cell. There's a few that have more than one, but they have nuclei. The way that we remember this is protists. Pro means for something or wanting something. So protists are for a nuclei, or have or want a nuclei. Examples: algae, amoebas, and diatoms. And then we have monorans. Monorans are one cell also, but they have no nuclei. The way to remember this is nomonuclei. So they don't have a nuclei. An example, best example, is bacteria. Next are the classification groups. You can see kingdom at the top there because it is the largest, and it kind of trims down like a funnel. We don't have to worry about phylum, class, order, or family, but genus and species, you can see on the bottom, are very important. And I will show you why. The scientific name. The genus and the species make up the scientific name. As you can see, the genus is the second smallest classification group, and it is the first word in the scientific name. Whereas species is the very smallest classification group, and it is the second word in the scientific name. So we have an example. The human being's scientific name is Homo sapien. So for a little review for you guys can fill in those blanks there. What is the genus and what is the species using the human being's scientific name as an example? Alright, now more specifically into a kingdom, the animal kingdom. The first group, major group anyways, of the animal kingdom are vertebrates. Vertebrates are animals with a backbone. And easy way to remember this, our backbone, as we learned in our skeletal system unit, is made up of what we call vertebrae. Our backbone or spine is made up of those vertebrae, hence the names vertebrates. And up there you can see that vertebrates are broken into 5 different subgroups. We have mammals, reptiles, amphibians, fish, and birds. Mammals have hair and produce milk for their young. Pretty simple. Another one that you can think of is they have live birth. Then reptiles, dry, scaly skin. Amphibians, they have moist skin and no scales. Now some people get amphibians and reptiles mixed up sometimes because they think a snake or a turtle or a lizard is kind of moist and slimy, but they're really not. They're cold, but they are dry, and if you look close, they have scales. Whereas amphibians do not have scales. Like a frog, they don't have scales. And most amphibians also have different stages of life. Of course, they have the egg, but then, like a frog, they're a tadpole, and then they develop into an adult. Then we get into fish. Fish, obviously, they have gills. That's the main thing. But they spend their entire life in water, and most of them have hard scales. Now there's always a few exceptions, and one is the shark. A shark comes into a different subgroup of fish called cartilaginous fish, and we don't have to go into depth in that. And then the last subgroup of vertebrates is birds. The main thing is birds have feathers. Don't get tied into the fact that they can fly, because not all birds can fly, just like the penguin. Their wings aren't built for flying. The next major group of animals are invertebrates, meaning animals without a backbone. Examples of these are arthropods, mollusks, and worms. Arthropods have segmented legs and segmented bodies. And examples of these are insects, arachnids, which are spiders, crabs, scorpions. Most three-legged or six-legged, three on each side, or eight-legged creatures. Then mollusks. Mollusks now may or may not have a hard outer shell, and if they do, mainly it's an actual shell. Snails, for example, clams, oysters, they find an actual shell for their protection. Now, squid on the other side, they don't have any outer protection. And then we get into worms. Worms, no legs, no eyes, or skeleton. Their examples are earthworms, tapeworms, and flatworms. Now into the plant kingdom. These are the only two that we're going to go deep into. There are two types of plants, two major groups, vascular and non-vascular. Okay, vascular plants are plants with tubes. So we ask our surfer dude over there, what are vascular plants? He'll tell you, they're totally tubular, man. Vascular plants are totally tubular. They're far out. They're awesome. All right, thanks, surfer dude. Calm down a little bit. And examples or ways that you can tell a vascular plant are they have roots, they have stems, they have leaves, flowers, and or cones. Yeah, they're totally awesome, man. Thank you, surfer dude. Chill out a second. Then the second group, non-vascular plants. These are plants without tubes. Yeah, they're like totally non-tubular. They're kind of a bummer, but in their own ways, they're kind of cool. Hey, thanks again, surfer dude. I appreciate your help here, but I think I can take it. And non-vascular plants, they need to absorb water, so therefore they have to live in damp places. And examples of these are mosses and liverworts. Yeah, man, these totally non-tubular plants are pretty low, not very tall plants. Kind of creepy, kind of weird. Thanks, surfer dude. Thanks for your opinion. Some people may like them, though. So that concludes our review. Thank you very much for listening. Hopefully it helps.